Some people will give male, female. And one more question consists of, are you a smoker? Okay. If you say yes or no, that becomes a categorical no category and yes category. That time you can perform chi-square test. I have the data set. I will show you how to do that. Okay, quickly we'll go through. There are some conditions like when to go for chi-square. I'll share you the slides. You can slowly read that. Because we have only 1 hour of time, then again 1 hour we have to do data analysis for the given questionnaire. Okay, the same slide again. There are some assumptions in chi-square. Okay, coming to continuous variable data, when you are trying to compare the when you are trying to find the relationship between two continuous data, like for example, temperature. Temperature is continuous data. Sales of your product, it may be cool drink, example. Okay, so what is the sales? Say day 1, the temperature is 40 degrees and the sales happened was say 4,000 units. Day 2, what is the temperature and what is the sales happened that day? So metrics, both are in metrics. You can compare whether they have positive correlation, negative correlation, or no correlation. Okay. Just a minute. There is some slide arrangement problem. Okay. So we'll first try to do some hands-on, then come back to one way and two way and over. Okay. Right.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, I am not receiving email from your side. So can you able to send me again?
You can send your mail ID to asrwar@xime.org.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just send me. I'll share all the data. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So first we'll go with independent sample t-test, that is two sample t-test. Okay. So what are the requirements for two sample t-test? Say I have a data where you have some questionnaires, like for example, HM is one variable, which is abbreviation. The extension is hedonic motivation. MSE is nothing but mobile self-efficacy. Habit, HAB is nothing but habit, and price value. Okay, so price value is what I'm trying to determine here. That is my dependent variable. Okay, now let us focus on two sample t-test. Two sample t-test, when do we do that two sample t-test? To compare two groups. Now, how to do two sample t-test? I hope all of you have installed SPSS. Okay, analyze, compare means independent sample t-test. Okay, now I want to compare gender difference. Okay, gender difference, gender has two groups here, male and female. I am sending them to grouping variables, and here I have to define what is group 1. I have labeled group 1 male as 1, group 2 female as 2. Okay, and then I want to check what is the difference between male and female towards price value. Okay, so my price value is here, and click OK. Now here comes the interpretation part. So here in t-test, what we have to observe? First, we have to observe here the two-tailed significance part. Okay. First, we have to check what is the significance level of Levin's test. It is not significant. Okay. And here equal variance assume significant two-tail, equal variance not assume. Just to clarify that part, you have to just go through this slide. Yes, you can see the slide. What is it written there? I'll clear the screen. If Levin test indicates that variance are equal across two groups, that is p-value large, you will rely on first row of output. Okay. Equal variance assumed when you look at the results of actual independent t-test. Okay. See, what they are trying to say is this one. You can see here there are two outputs. First, it is Levin's test. If it is greater than point, that is, if it is not significant, then we go for first row, that is equal variance assumed. Okay. When it is significant, when Levin's test is significant, okay, then we go for second row. Now, which row I have to check here? For significance level.
First row.
First row. So what is the significance level? Is it less than 0.05? Is it significant? And what is the interpretation? Why we did two sample? Why we end up here? And what is the interpretation? You have to tell me.
So there is no difference between male and females.
Now, correct. Now, how do we form hypothesis for this? How would the hypothesis statement you can generate? How can you write the statement, hypothesis statement?
There is no significant difference between the male and female with respect to what was that, sir?
Price value.
Price value.
Okay. What is H naught and what is alternative hypothesis?
So alternative would be male and
It is not
females.
significant.
Yeah, will be significantly different when it comes to price value.
See, there are two hypotheses. H naught, in our research, we always go H naught by saying that there is no difference between male and female, or say there is no difference in gender when try to compare with price value. H1, that is alternative hypothesis, we say there is a difference. There is a difference between male and female. Now, H naught or alternative hypothesis, which one?
Because it is greater than 0.05, we accept H naught. That is, there is no significant difference between the purchase value of both male and female.
Right. That's how we try to interpret. And there is one article on Levin's test. I will share you that article. While writing in research paper, if you are a beginner, you can use these Levin's test and those research article as citation. When you're writing the analysis interpretation based on so-and-so author, you have to give citation. Okay. That is what the Scopus level or high level journals actually expect. Right. Now moving to the next analysis. Now let us say I want to, I think the data related to chi-square I don't have. Okay, we'll come back to the chi-square later. First, we'll try to perform correlation. Just a quick look back with correlation. When do we go for correlation? When do we go for correlation in area? What is
relationship between?
Sir, when we need to compare the relationship between two variables.
With what type of variables?
Independent and dependent variables.
Independent and
Okay.
dependent.
Fine. Now coming to my data set. My screen is visible, right? My SPSS is visible to all
Yes,
of you.
sir.
Right. Now look at the screen carefully. See, this first, leave the first row. That is just a dummy column. Okay. These three, HM1, HM2, HM3, actually a variable called hedonic motivation. And instead of writing questionnaire there, it's actually a statements, but I haven't written the statements there. I have given codes as HM statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. Now, what is mean by indicator? What is mean by items? What is mean by construct? Any idea on that? I think the session, morning session, sir covered that. What is mean by construct? What is items?
Sir, construct is an abstract term which are not directly measurable.
Okay. So here, I think sir also thought about reflective, formative. I don't want to go there now. Just we'll keep it simple. These three statements measure hedonic motivation. The statements I have not written here, but for your understanding, just think that these statements measure hedonic motivation. These three statements measure a variable called MSC. Okay, both are in scales, say continuous form. Now, how do I perform correlation for these two variables? I just want to compare HM versus MSC from the given questionnaire. Say I have this questionnaire. I want to perform correlation. How do I go about it?
First, you need to determine which is independent and which is dependent.
No. Yes, nice question. Correlation, do we really need to define dependent variable and independent variable?
No, not necessary.
No, sir. I think in the regression.
Not really.
It's
Yes, that is in regression, I think, where we are looking for
Exactly.
cause and effect relationship.
Yes. See, in correlation,
Both the variables are moving same direction, or if
In
one
correlation,
is moving
we are just looking
in
for the
one
direction in which they are moving together.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
right, irrespective of whether the variable is dependent or independent, we are just trying to check the relationship between them, whether they are negatively correlated or positively related, or there is no correlation. Now, how do I perform? Let us not go to the other section. My question is up to here, only up to here. 4 plus 3, 7 statements. So I just want to do the correlation now. How do I go about it? Just forget the other statements there. I just want to perform correlation with these statements. This is one variable called MSC and this is one variable called HM. How do I start? Any idea?
Take an average
Value
value.
standard deviation.
Okay, how do we do that?
Basically ensure that nothing is reverse coded and then go to transform variables.
Correct.
Compute variable and take an average.
Okay, so we have to go to transform, compute variable. Here, you can name the variable as HM. Then you can create average, that is HM1 plus HM2, sorry, plus HM3 and divide it by 3. What in case of 4, HM4, you will average, you can just do that, right? So I have already done that. It's there here. Okay, it's there already created. So our objective was HM and MSC. So how to do correlation? Analyze, correlate by variable. Okay. So come down and check when you create when you transform variable, that is compute variable with single name, HM, MSC. Okay, these two variables. I'm transforming in the right side here. Then everything is default. No need to change anything. Just directly click OK. Right? Now, Pearson correlation table is here. How to understand this table? Here we have to understand the table by looking at correlation between HM versus MSC. Okay. So what is the significance level? This is the first thing which we have to observe. So significance level is less than 0.05. And what is the correlation value? 0.293. Now you have to tell me whether it is positively correlated or negatively correlated.
Partial positive, sir.
Sir, this is
Positive.
correlated, but not,
Positive.
Correlation is very.
sir, positive correlated, but their power is very low.
Not
It's a
highly
weak positive correlation.
You are on mute. I think we can't hear you. Dr. Askar.
So we can't hear
We
you.
can't hear you, sir.
It seems.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. There
We
was
can
some connection problem. Okay, right. So this is all about correlation. Let us quickly run to other analysis. How many of you are okay with ANOVA? You are all clear with ANOVA?
Sir, please explain once again, sir, please.
Which one?
ANOVA.
Already, I think the session has been over on ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, right? No? Okay, no problem. So when do we go for ANOVA analysis? Analysis of variance. There are two types of analysis of variance. One is called one-way ANOVA. The other one is called two-way ANOVA. So first we'll look when to perform one-way ANOVA. Okay. As I told you in the beginning, there are two types of tests. One is relationship test and the other one is difference test. So ANOVA, one-way ANOVA analysis is we apply when we have more than two groups. Okay. Say when you want to compare the difference of mean of CGPA between section A, section B, and section C. Okay. In that case, there are three groups. You will go for one-way ANOVA, right? When to go for two-way ANOVA, I'll come to that later. First, let us do hands-on one-way ANOVA analysis. One-way ANOVA analysis, when do we go for one-way ANOVA analysis? Now you are clear with that? Shall we do
Yes,
it
sir.
hands-on?
Yes, sir. More than.
Okay. The same.
Sir, I can't hear you.
Yes. Right. So the same data set, say imagine you have a questionnaire, okay, you have already transformed it, okay. Now we have to perform one-way ANOVA. Say, is there any categorical variables in this data set? I have categorical variables like
Gender, sir.
Gender is only two groups. We go for one-way ANOVA analysis when we have more than two groups. I will take qualification or else income level. I think screen is visible. There are 4 groups in income level. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the group is more than 2. So in this case, I will go for one-way ANOVA analysis. Okay. Say I want to compare what is the difference in price value. Okay, in price value preference in terms of 4 income group. 10,000 to 20,000 per month is one group. 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and above 40. There are 4 groups in this data set. Now let us perform. How to do one-way ANOVA analysis? We go for one-way ANOVA analysis when we want to compare more than 2 groups. Difference between more than 2 groups. So go to analyze, compare means, one-way ANOVA. Okay. So here I said I just want to compare the variable called PV, that is price value. And in factor, what I have to send in factor? I have to send income. You have to select the income from here. This is INC is income. You send it to the factor. After selecting your dependent list and factor, factor is nothing but how many groups you have. More than 2 groups, that is income, we have 4 groups. Then click on post hoc. Okay. In post hoc, the major applied method is 2K. Okay. LSD is the old method. There are other different mathematicians who have given different formulas like Sidak, Cafe, Duncan. There are different formulas to analyze, but predominantly used technique is LSD and 2K. Okay, so you just tick on 2K method and give continue. Click OK. Now first initial table, the overall table. Okay, the first overall table says, is it significant? Significant in the sense, is there a difference? You have to check this. You can, if you are using from mobile, you can zoom the screen and see, is it significant?
No, sir.
Okay. So here itself, we got an idea that in among the 4 groups, there is not much difference. Okay. If you really want to go deep, like group by group, if you want to compare, okay, is there a difference between lower income people versus higher income people? Okay, I'll just show that quickly. You can come to the multiple comparison. Okay, in multiple comparison, what you can compare with reference to the lower income group, that is 10,000, 20,000. The 21 to 30,000, is there a difference? There is no difference. With reference to 10 to 20,000 per month, rupees 31 to 40,000, is there a difference? No. With reference to 10, more than 40,000 per month, is there a difference in terms of price value perception? There is no difference. So the data set which I have sent, you have to perform all this analysis. We'll see in the upcoming hour. Okay. So we finished the independent sample t-test. We finished ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, and chi-square. I have different data set for that. I'll explain that. Okay, we'll quickly see what is pair t-test. Okay, if you want, I'll go, or else I'll go to the two-way ANOVA. You tell me, like, how shall I go? Because most of you will be aware of those analysis. That's why.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So which analysis shall I move to now?
Two-way ANOVA.
Okay. Yes. So in what case we go for two-way ANOVA? See, in one-way ANOVA, the previous example, okay, we used only one type of category, that is income. Okay, we used only one type of category, that is called income, which is further splitted into 4 groups. When you are using only one group, that is income group, under income there are 4 subgroups. In that case, you can go for one-way ANOVA. Now, what, for example, if you want to compare the CGPA score of a candidate, say CGPA score of section A, section B, and section C, there are, say, 3 sections, along with their CAT qualification score. Sorry, along with their exam. I'll just write in a new slide so that it will be clear instead of explaining like this. See, you have students group. Okay, A, comma B, comma C. Say 3 groups are there. Okay, I'll just increase this font size. So there are 3 groups, and you have student qualified exam. Okay, say it may be CAT, it may be MAT, or it may be ZAT. For ABA level, we write these exams. Okay, so it is again 3 categories. Okay, you are selecting a sample of 50. Sample is equal to 50. Okay, or whatever number. In this 50, there will be a people belong or student belonging to A section with CAT, student belonging to B section with MAT, or any other type of exam. Okay, the objective is you want to compare the difference. Okay, difference between student group and student qualification. Okay, qualification with their mean CGPA. Okay, say one more data you have CGPA of all the students, right? Are you getting the point? What type of data is required to perform 2-way ANOVA? Okay, I will just reread this slide. 2-way ANOVA compares the mean differences between the groups that have been split into 2 independent variables. Now, what are the 2 independent variables here in this example?
Student group and the qualified exam.
Right. Student group, say there are 3 types of exams. He may belong to any one of it, and he may belong to any section. And you have their CGPA scores. Okay, it may be 1 to 8 or 1 to 10, whichever scale you are using. Right. Now, the primary purpose of 2-way ANOVA is to understand if there is an interaction between 2 independent variables on dependent variables. Now, what is meant by interaction?
Relationship
between 2
one on the other, sir.
Right. We have mediation moderation. That time I'll explain that. Now, you look at this example, if you could able to relate for 2-way ANOVA. Say you want to understand, is there an interaction between gender and educational level? Now here, gender is split into male and female, which is categorical. Educational level is split into undergraduate and postgraduate, which is again categorical. Now, test anxiety, this is continuous. The test anxiety level, say we are measuring test anxiety level from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So that will come in the metrics. So with this, when you compare 2 groups, male and that is gender and educational level with test in anxiety, you will get the difference whether they are significantly different or not, and also interaction. Okay, so let us try to perform 2-way ANOVA just for understanding from the given data. I will take the same data set. Okay, same questions, like we have same HM, MSc, and this time what I'll do, I'll take income level. There is 2 groups. This time what I'll do, I'll take qualification. Okay, qualification and income level with respect to price value. Okay, is there a difference between these 2 categories or not? Analyze, compare means, sorry, we have to go for univariate for 2-way ANOVA. Yeah, we have to go for analyze, general linear model, univariate. Okay, so click on the univariate, and what is your dependent variable? Dependent variable is price value. Okay, and what are your factors? That is independent factors. So for this example, I want to take income and qualification. Okay. Now, after selecting fixed factor and dependent variable, you have to click on the model. So no need to change anything here. Contrast also no need to change. Plots, that is not required. Post hoc. Post hoc analysis is performed when you have more than 2 groups in that category. Qualification, we have 4 groups. Income, we have 4 groups. So select both of them, transfer to post hoc, and you can use any technique. I'll be using 2 key. Okay, continue. And save, no need. Options, we'll take display means for the interaction term. That's all. Click OK. Now, how to interpret two-way ANOVA? So first table, it shows how many people belongs to what category and what is their sample size. Okay, and this is test between subject effects. Okay, so you can see qualification into INC here in this table. So this is what is the interaction. Okay, so whether the interaction is significant or not. Can you see here qualification into income? Okay, so the next major thing which we have to look at during two-way ANOVA analysis. See here they have compared qualification wise. Okay, diploma versus undergraduate, is there a difference or not? Okay, and there is one more table. Yeah, here it is. Qualification versus income group. Now take reference of diploma from the qualification, income level of 10 to 20. Okay, we have to look at the significance value. Significance value should be here. Post hoc, here it is. Sorry, income level versus difference. There will be one more table. Just a minute. Okay, we have to compare like this. Okay, in see, we have taken 2 categories, right? One is qualification, the other one is income. And first we'll look at what is the qualification. Is there a difference under qualification wise? Okay, diploma versus undergraduate, there is no difference. Undergraduate diploma, there is no difference. Now, what about undergraduate versus doctorate? Is it significant? Are you there? Anybody?
Yes, sir. There is no.
Yes, sir, there is.
So
All the values
let
are
me
above
see.
0.05.
Yeah, individually you can check. Okay, and you can try to interpret that in your paper. I'll just clear this out 1 minute. Here we did with qualification in terms of qualification comparison, and here in terms of income. So both have generated 2K analysis. I selected the option called 2K HT, right? So between which group there is a huge difference? Undergraduate and doctorate level, there is a huge difference because doctorate, the mean value is 2.53. Undergraduate level, the mean value is 3.30. So there are 2 subsets under qualification level. For income level, there are again 2 subsets. What is the difference? There is a huge difference between higher income level versus lower income level. So what would be your interpretation now? How will you interpret this? With the help of hypothesis. Say your hypothesis was qualification and income level, okay, with respect to price value. How will you generate hypothesis for this?
It has to specifically include those subset names also, no, sir, when you're talking about it.
Yes. I think I missed out some option here. Just a minute. Yeah. So from here you can make the interpretation, that is test between subject effects. Okay. So qualification wise, is there a difference in terms of price value?
No,
Is there a difference in terms of income?
no,
When we check together along with qualification and income, there is a difference in price value. Is it correct?
yes.
Right. So this is how we interpret for two-way ANOVA. Okay. When we have two categories, each category is split into further subgroups.
Sir, can you just go back to that, sir, 3.17, that table?
This one?
Yeah. No, sir, you were just there where two income groups had the similar value.
Which income group? Which table? You tell me. It's
Subsets, I think she's referring to subsets. 2 key.
in qualification, or which one you are asking?
Sir, I think it was not this, sir. I think income. I think that
Okay, here is income.
two income groups are having 3.17, sir. Yes, this one.
Yeah, that's why the major difference it is showing. This is internal, right? Only among the income group. That is what significance shows more than 0.05, right?
Yeah.
You're getting the
Do I
point.
understand this? If the two subsets are having a similar behavior, do I consider them as two subsets? I just wanted to know.
Why I need to cut two subsets? Because there is a slight difference. That's why we try to compare individually. So individual comparison, you can see here, 40,000 versus lower income level, there will be a difference. With reference to 40,000, it is slightly different, but they are significant. Okay, that's how the subset is formed. Okay, right. Now, after two-way ANOVA analysis, we will quickly move to regression analysis. Or is there any other test you want to verify apart
No,
from this?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, see, so when you do a test like these, like two-way ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, there are a lot of tables which are generated. So when you report them in a research paper, what all tables should you put there?
Okay, right. So first start with, let me just select post 1 minute. Okay. I have generated too many analysis, just a minute. Okay, univariate. So first thing which you have to report is test of between subject effects. This one. Clear? First interpretation, you have to say the objective is what? The objective is to compare the groups with respect to price value, right?
Right.
Price value is a metric. Price value is a metric. Now, with respect to that, is there a difference in qualification? Significance says no. Income level, no. When I check together, along with qualification and income together instead of individually, it shows there is a significant difference, right? The major table in many papers, if you see, they will only give this table. Okay, through this they try to interpret.
And is it okay if we just copy paste this from SPSS to the paper?
Yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem. Just right click, copy, paste it there.
Yeah.
And while writing interpretation, you have to give citations. Okay, you have to give citations based on the cutoff values. Okay, whether it is significant or not. How you use this method? Say I use 2K method. So there should be some citation why I use 2K method. Okay.
Okay.
So that citation, I will share the slides article which related to ANOVA, ANOVA. Okay. That article, whoever has talked about it, that author, say author X, whatever the year that book is published, you can cite that. Okay. So that's how we do two-way ANOVA analysis.
Any other tables that we need to report in addition to this?
Sorry?
Any other table that we need to report in the paper?
If we really want to report individually, then we can use this comparison, qualification into income, where you can talk about upper bound, lower bound, but most of them use this table and the last table, this subset. Okay. But if you are interpreting only this table, that is more than enough. The table is this one, effect between subject effects. Okay, test of between subject effects.
Okay.
Right. Now, yes.
Sir, can you please guide us regarding non-parametric test? How can we perform non-parametric test in SPSS and analyze the output?
Yeah.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. I'll come to that. Let me just quickly go through the other analysis like regression and factor analysis.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, once again, can you explain the steps involved in this to create the table test of between subject effects?
Okay.
Because it moved fastly, I can't understand.
Okay. Why I'm going a little fast is because we have 2 hours and we have to cover factor and other things also. Okay, no problem. You can quickly look at the screen. We are performing two-way ANOVA. Okay, two-way ANOVA. The requirement is there should be 2 groups, each split into multiple subgroups. Okay, in that case, we go for two-way ANOVA. And the dependent list should be continuous. That is what we read in the first slide. That is what type of data should be the dependent variable and what data should be the independent variable. Okay, here we are trying to compare 2 groups, qualification group and income group. They both have further subgroups and we are trying to compare price value. Okay. Then we click contrast. Here we don't do anything. If you want plots, you can draw plots. Post hoc, we have to click on post hoc and take 2K and LST. And remember, you have to transfer these 2 variables to post hoc test. Okay. Right. After this, you have to click on save. Cook distance and all not required. Options, you can select all the factors and transfer to the display means for. Okay, and you can take on descriptive statistics and estimates of effect size. That's all. Okay, you can click OK and the output will be generated. If you really want to describe deeply in thesis, we can display all this, but for paper, when you are doing research paper, this is enough. For thesis, you have to show all this. Okay, you have to interpret all the tables, but for the research paper, this table is enough. Right.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, can you give us one example on paired sample t-test?
Yes.
First.
I have one.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Asrar,
Yes.
will you be sharing these videos with us by any
Yes,
chance?
yes. Recording, I will share now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Pair t-test. Okay. Pair t-test. When do we go for pair t-test? When we have same sample, when we are trying to compare at two different time intervals. For example, this data, okay, the example is related to medical. I will show one more example related to marketing. Okay. First, let us try to understand what is pair t-test. So here data is, you can see in the data view, patient ID. There are 16 patients, their age is recorded. What is their gender is recorded. 0 means male, 1 means female, those codes are given. Okay. And now what is their gym weight? We can say before going to gym, what was their weight? Okay. And after going to gym, say after 2-3 months or say 1 year, what is their weight? Okay. Are you getting the point? This is weight before gym. P1 is before gym. A1 is weight of the patient after gym. Okay.
Sir, weight of the patient after gym looks greater, sir.
No. I think while editing, I might have missed out. What I'll do instead of patient, I'll say customer. Okay. Customer ID. Let us be more logical. Okay. So just imagine this is customer ID. Say you are running a gym. Customer ID, age, gender, before gym, after gym. Say a candidate joined your gym, what was his weight? And after, say, a certain period, what is his weight? So you have recorded this data. Go to analyze. Compare means paired sample t-test. Okay. Compare means paired sample t-test. You can click here. So before gym, you can send it to the variable 1. After gym, you can send it to the variable 2. Right? And click on the options. I don't think you need to do anything. Just directly click OK. Now, coming to the interpretation part. Interpretation part is very simple and straightforward. Before and after gym, straight away look into the significance level. Is there a difference? If the value is less than 0.05, okay, there is a difference. If it is greater than 0.05, there is no difference. Okay, same hypothesis you can see. Is that fine?
Sorry, I'm just stuck there, sir, because A1 is greater than B1. So I don't know.
Actually,
yeah, yes, sir.
The logically you are correct. It's actually related to diet. I might have changed to gym. Okay. So basically the idea is before and after, you can imagine anything. You can say before training, what is the performance? After sailing, after training, what is the performance? Before gym, what is the weight? After gym, what is the weight? Okay. So like that, you can compare and you can interpret with this significance level. Yes.
Sir, is this between only 2 time intervals? Means.
Thank you, sir.
No. We can do multiple time intervals.
Okay, sir.
Usually, when they try to test drugs, okay,
sir,
if they want.
Excuse me, sir. Actually, I am testing concretes. The days, 7 days strength,
Yes.
28 days strength.
Yes. Concrete. we can do like there is some 28 days of curing and 60 days of curing,
Yes,
something
yes,
like
yes,
that.
the same, yeah.
So 28 days of curing, what was the compression test? After 68 days, what is the compression test?
90 days.
90 days,
Yeah,
what is the
for 5
compression
time
test?
intervals. Yes. Okay.
So there you can test and you can show significant to test.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, here this is the performance score of sales. Okay, before and after. I'll just quickly run this as a pad. Before sales, after sales. Okay, so here you get there is no difference. There is no difference in performance before sales and after sales. Significance level is not less than 0.05. Okay, so there is not much difference between before training and after training. So that is the statistical interpretation. Right. Now, next topic, we'll quickly move to factor. You tell me from this screen which one my screen is visible.
See your screen, sir.
Which topic shall I move to quickly? Because you have to perform that with your data set. I will share the data set.
Okay, factor analysis, sir.
Okay. Okay, factor analysis. So when do we perform factor analysis? Factor analysis is a statistical data reduction technique that try to explain correlation among multiple outcomes or say multiple indicators. Okay, this is basically called a technique where a data reduction technique. For example, there are two terms which you have to remember. I think morning the session you understood what is meant by latent variable and manifest variables. That is nothing but your items. Okay, so what is the level of factor loading? Whether it is really measuring the usefulness. Okay, is there enough loading of these statements? For example, you can see these are the items. This concept is about the construct name is usefulness. Usefulness, in other terms, you can say productivity or you can say benefit. Okay, using Excel in my work enables me to accomplish my task more quickly. Okay, using Excel improves my work. You can ask this in statements, and whether these four statements are measuring the latent variable observation or not. Right. So these are called items, or in other terms, it is also called manifest variables. So this is a construct called SPSS anxiety. Item one is nothing but the statements which you give to the respondents for as a questionnaire. Now imagine this is the questionnaire. Okay, I'm giving it to you with the scale like shopping through mobile app is good value for money. What is your level of agreement? You can take strongly agree, disagree, neutral, whatever, right? So this is the questionnaire. So you can ask this in scale and valid factor loading. Okay. After I'll explain you with hands-on because factor analysis you will understand better with hands-on. Okay. So this is latent variable, item variable we have seen. One more example to understand what is construct and that is latent variable and manifest variable. See here, trust. Trust is a latent variable. Trust in general, trust in the MSc group, trust towards the government. These are the statements. Okay. You can write it the references here from where you have adopted your questionnaire. So most of the Indian journals, they don't follow this format. Suppose if you have selected questionnaire from some other sources for whatever the variable, say trust, you have adopted three statements from where you have to give the references. Okay. Now, these are the steps which we have to remember for factor analysis. I'll put it in full screen. Please take a screenshot. And if you have a doubt, we'll do it hands-on. First step is to identify the rotation. There is one technique said by Corner and Tabachnik and Fidel. Okay, what type of rotation to use? There is one technique called what type of rotation to be used. It has to be done based on Tabachnik and Fidel method. I'll explain you that how to do. KMO Bartlett value should be above 0.5. Communalities should have above 0.5. Total variance explained should come above 0.6. Okay, in some cases, some of the authors say above 0.5 also. Okay, scree plot. This I will explain when we do it practically. Okay, and rotated component matrix. Okay, let me take the data set because factor analysis is more clear when we do it hands-on.
Sir, is the factor analysis is only applicable in the time series data, not the cross-sectional one?
Time series data? No, cross-sectional. Time series data has different analysis techniques. Why do we do factor analysis there? I didn't get you, like why you are bringing time series here? See, time series data, the example is like, what is the sales of last 1 week, last 7 days? Okay, for that, we can use forecasting techniques like moving average, exponential smoothing. And if the data is very complex, and you can use techniques like ARMA, ARIMA, ARCH, GARCH. There are different, what we say, auto regression techniques. Okay, those we can apply. Sorry. Okay, so I will share these things to you. You can follow these steps. So let us go to the data set. Now this you have to perform. I mean, like in next 15 minutes, I will just stop here. I will share the data set which you have filled, the questionnaire which you have filled. I will share the data set to you. You can perform and tell me the results. Okay, any one of you can share the screen and tell me this results. So quickly coming to the factor analysis. This is my questionnaire. Say I have HM as one variable. Okay, these are items. For HM has 3 items, MSC has 4 items, habit has 3, and price value has 3 items. Okay, so these are my 4 variables for which I'm trying to perform factor analysis. Right, going to the factor analysis. These are the steps. Analyze dimension reduction factor. Okay, so here you just press reset. So you have 4 variables for your study. Transfer all the items of 4 variables like HM, MSC, PV. Okay, all the 4 variables I'm transferring here. Now go back to the slide. Identify the rotation. Okay, now first thing what you have to do after transferring the items, click on rotation directly. Click Varimax. Sorry, direct oblique. Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll explain you that why. I repeat, after selecting analyze dimension reduction factor analysis, select all the items, transfer it to the right side, that is variables. Click on rotation and select direct oblique. Okay, click on OK. Then click one more OK. This is the first step. Now, why I selected oblique? Okay, actually, factor analysis to explain it completely, I need at least 2 hours for that. So I'm just quickly what to say. Quickly running this analysis so that you can take some inputs from factor analysis. Okay, I have performed the step 1. Now what you have to look at? Now what is the reference I have given? Corner 2009. The data, I mean the article is here. Okay, citation article is here, and Tabachnik Fidel technique is also in this book. They have written a book on using multivariate analysis. What they say is, my screen is visible, right? Yeah. Go to the output. Output. Rotation. Direct oblivion. Click OK. Straight away in the left side, go to the table called component correlation matrix. Are you there? Yeah. So in component correlation matrix, you have to look at whether component 1 versus 2, 3, 4 has any correlation or say value above plus or minus 0.32, above plus or minus 0.32. I repeat, in the step 1, we have to just click the rotation. We have to select oblivion option. Okay, then click OK. In the output, you have to check the table called component correlation matrix, right? In component correlation matrix, you have to check component 1 versus component 2, 3, 4 versus 2 versus 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3 versus 2, 3, 4, like that. This value should not exceed 0.32 according to Corner and Tabachnik, the author citation I have given. Okay, plus or minus 0.32. Okay, greater than. If it is greater than 0.32, then the method of rotation we have to go for oblique rotation. Okay, what is oblique rotation? I will just explain that. I will share that book with you, that Tabachnik book, which explains about these two things. Yes, please look at this rotation. In factor analysis, there are two types of rotation: Varimax, Quantimax, Equamax. These three are called orthogonal rotation. Okay, direct oblivion and Promax are called oblique rotation. You can read the details about this in that book. Okay, so just from the analysis point of view, what we have to do first, select all the items, click on the rotation, click direct oblivion, continue, look at the output in correlation matrix, make sure there is no value above 0.32 plus or minus. If it is above 0.32, we have to go for oblique method. If it is less than 0.32, we have to go for orthogonal method. Orthogonal methods are this one. Go back to the analyze. See here, none of the values are above 0.32. Okay, so go to analyze, dimension reduction, factor, rotation. I told you Varimax, Quantimax, Equamax comes under orthogonal rotation, right? And direct oblivion, Promax comes under oblique rotation. So first step we finished, we saw the values are less than 0.32. So we have to go for orthogonal rotation. In orthogonal rotation, the predominantly used technique is Varimax. So click Varimax now. Then go to the extraction, click on scree plot. Okay, click on the scree plot, click continue. Go to the scores. You can click save as variables, and in options you can replace with mean, suppress by sorted by size, suppress values which are less than 5.5. Okay, I repeat from the first: analyze, dimension reduction, factor. So initially you will directly go for rotation just by clicking OK. In the step 2, if the value is less than 0.32, you have to change the rotation. Along with rotation, you have to change the extraction where you have to take scree plot. And in rotation we finished. Scores, you can give us save as variables. If you want factor score, may not be required, you can untick that. If there are some missing values, you can replace that with mean. And sorted by size, suppress small coefficient, absolute value below 0.5. This is the standard practice in multivariate factor analysis. Okay, these are the options which you have to do, and click OK. Now, analyze dimension reduction. Yeah, I missed out one important thing, that is descriptive. Descriptive, we have to take KMO and coefficient. This only we are going to interpret KMO. Okay, so just again, once again, I'll repeat dimension reduction. Okay, factor. Step 1, we have to check direct oblique. Okay, if it is less than 0.2, change it to Varimax. Click on descriptive. Okay, take KMO and coefficient. Okay, we don't want anti-image and all, because in paper we cannot we can write that, but we cannot take the table to the research paper. Okay, so major interpretation will be doing with KMO. In extraction, mark scree plot, the other things. Rotation, Varimax. Scores, save as options, replace with mean, sorted by size, suppress with small coefficient 0.5. Done. Click OK. Now here, first interpretation we can make through KMO Bartlett. This is nothing but a sample adequacy test. Sorry, you asked any question? Okay. So KMO Bartlett test, what you can check here is significance level, and the value of KMO Kaiser should be above how much we have seen in the slide. It should be above. It should be above 0.5. Okay, so this is the cutoff value. Yeah. So that is the first interpretation. It is 0.746 and it is significant. So KMO Bartlett test test of sphericity is valid. So we can go ahead with the second step. That is communalities. Communalities, what is the amount of variance explained by each items, okay, over the overall construct. So the communalities, all the communalities values in extraction, in the extraction part here, these all values should be above 0.5. That is the condition. And citation for these two, Hare et al. 2012, Hare et al. 2018, and Hare et al. 2020. There is a latest article on the measurement model and factor analysis by Hare et al. And team, which I will be sharing to you. Okay. Right. So after checking the KMO Bartlett, we have to check the communalities. The condition I have already displayed. What is the cutoff values? Then go down. Total variance explained. A total variance explained. What is the condition? It should be above 60%. Okay, as per Hare, and there is one more author. Right now, I don't remember the name. I'll share the data, which you can cite.
Mila?
And it is above 50%. So total variance explained is also valid. And further, we come down to scree plot. Now, how do we interpret this scree plot? It's very simple. In Eigen value, okay, you have to draw a straight line from the value 1. Okay, You draw a straight line from the value 1. Now above this line, you just look at how many number of dots are there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means you have 4 factors. Okay. Is that clear? Yes.
How do we identify these factors which will be given down? Is it?
That is also there. You are correct. Like I'm coming to that point. You are talking about rotated component matrix. Apart from that, just to identify, like suppose you are in exploratory stage, you don't know how many factors. You can just draw a line on eigenvalue and check how many dots are there above this eigenvalue 1. It is 4. So which indicates there are 4 components or say 4 factors. Done?
4 factors that are significant.
Okay. Now, the next straight away table we have to go is rotated component matrix. Rotated component matrix, please make sure whether the items are properly loaded. For example, component 1, which is called MSC. Okay. There are no cross-loading, like not cross-loading. There is no merge of components here. For example, MSC, this data set is falling in component 1. For example, HM is a different variable, PV is a different variable, habit is a different variable. They should be in different components. Sometimes what happens when there is a problem with correlation, or say with each item, there will be huge correlation with the inter item. Then what happens is there will be some cross values, like PV2 will also join here. Okay, I think the data which you have given, the reply, the questionnaire data, I think you may face that problem in the beginning. For that, we need to do some data cleaning work. Okay, so the ultimate idea is component 1 should have proper loading on component 1. Component 2 should have proper loading on component 2. Component 3 is PV, which is properly loaded here. And habit is one more component which is properly loaded here. There are no cross values or any extra values in any of the components of the other variable. Okay, that means the factor analysis is clear. There is no cross loading during rotated component matrix. Right? So, what things to be given in the paper? For paper, you have to give KMO Bartlett. Okay, you can use citation of Harrington. Communalities, you have to show this in the paper if you are applying factor analysis. Total variance explained, also you have to give, okay, in this rotation sum of squares. Okay, this is what you have to show there. And scree plot, if you are doing exploratory factor analysis, that time you can show. Many papers show scree plot even for confirmatory factor analysis, but it's up to you. And straight away you can show rotated component matrix. Okay, while giving it in the paper, you have to make sure this component loading should be proper. That is, habit variable is properly loaded. There is no cross load here in the component, rotated component. Okay, there is no merging of variables. That's all. If you show this in the factor analysis, that is more than enough. And these are the.
I just have a question. So in case the communalities condition is not met, or the KMO Bartlett condition is not met, then is there any way to deal with it?
Yes. Based on my experience, in the sense doing factor analysis with questionnaire survey data, KMO probably, if your questionnaire length, okay, in India, if the questionnaire length is more, you get all the problem. If you keep the questionnaire short, most of the time you will get KMO better. To improve, what happens is you can check in the communalities. Okay, in communalities part, there will be definitely some low values. You have to delete that. You have to delete and then try to improve. That's why most of the time in SEM analysis, for each variable, they'll go with maximum items. That is the reason, because while doing a factor analysis loading, few of the items we can delete, which are having a weak load or weak communality. Okay, you will start with 6 and finally end up with 4 or 3. Okay.
So I have a question, can I?
Yes, please.
So it's regarding rotation. Suppose I am into social sciences, and in my study, I got the value above 0.32, so I chose the oblique rotation, right? Now, in oblique rotation, there are two choices, as you have shown us, Promax and the direct oblique. Now, is there any difference between Promax and direct oblique that, or I can go with any of these?
Okay. 1 minute, let me go there.
Because I will tell you why I'm asking this is, with the same data set, when I ran the Promax, I got more cross loadings than when I did with the direct oblique. So
Okay. Majority of the since I am from
others, we can't hear you. There is some disturbance.
Asrar sir, can you please mute all these participants?
Control is, I mean, like host. I'm not the host. Host is
okay, because there are a lot of disturbance and we can't hear you clearly.
Bhatta sir is having the host rights. He can. Who's
Asrar sir, I am muting the noise maker.
Yes sir, please sir.
Just 1 second.
अरे इसमें इतना नहीं समझ आ रहा, वो हल्का सा ब्लैक सा ही कुछ है, मतलब वो खराब नहीं लग रहा था हमसे तो ज्यादा काली माई नहीं लग रही है काला काला ऊपर से नीचे तक.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so what I would do now, I will stop here. I will share your questionnaire. You can see your response here. Okay, the screen. I will share the same data set. You can download and you can perform. So how many response I received? Yeah, I received only 52 response. Okay, so I'm just sharing this sheet to all of you. You can download. Now, while downloading, you can look at the screen. I'll share this Google Sheet. Please download this in Excel format. Okay, because SPSS is highly compatible with Excel than CSV and other things. I mean, like other formats. Okay, kindly go to File and download Excel format, not the other formats. Okay, I'm sharing this. You can practice that. Yes.
so kindly answer that question.
Yes, direct oblique and
Promax.
you said Promax. Most of the marketing papers we have used only Varimax. Okay, and Promax and oblique method, I'm not much sure. Okay, so I have the book on multivariate. We can go through that, because when I'm not sure with that, I should not answer. So that's why I will share the material. You can go through that. Okay, I think this same article which is shown in the screen. Is my PPT is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this book I will share, and this one. Okay, they have mentioned clearly like what rotation we have to go for. Okay, this you can just go through, because major focus I have given in Varimax. Okay, not the oblique rotation method. So in this book, the details are there. You can go through that. Okay, coming to the quickly reliability and validity test. I hope these topics are already covered, right? I will just quickly run through this. You can take screenshot. When do we go for reliability and when do we go for validity? Or the question would be like, why do we need reliability assessment? Why do we need reliability assessment? Any idea?
That is if our to understand if we have to consider the value or not.
Okay, you can take screenshot of this. Okay, so for reliability assessment, we have to do 3 assessment: item loading consistency, Cronbach alpha, composite reliability. Okay, and for validity, we have 4 methods. First method is called average variance extracted method, which is in other words called convergent validity. Cross-loading method, which is old technique to validate the assessment. Discriminant, Fornell and Lacker for discriminant validity. We use Fornell-Lacker method. Okay, now majority of the articles, especially those who are using Smart PLS, those who are users of Smart PLS, okay, the software itself has this calculation, this option of calculating HTMT, but in SPSS we have to do it manually. In the sense, we have to copy the data into Excel, and I have shared Excel data sheet. I think you all have received. Kindly check your mail. I have shared one Excel sheet. It is a template where
Yes, sir, we have received.
you can calculate average variance, composite reliability. Discriminant validity, HTMT method, I will explain you how to do. Okay, so let us quickly talk about reliability. Okay, reliability is nothing but what is the degree to which measure of a construct is consistent. For example, service quality. Service quality, who is the author? Anybody from marketing? Service quality scale. Who is the founder of that? Parasuram. Okay. Technology acceptance model. Who is the founder of that? Technology acceptance model. Have you heard anybody who is doing in IT or marketing IT, something like that, information system? Anybody heard of TAM model? Technology acceptance model? TAM model, right? More than expansion, we understand the abbreviation. Yeah, TAM model. So Davis, the major constructs in TAM model are perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and behavioral intention. Adoption.
Davis.
Davis, F. Davis. Similarly, we have the most predominantly used theory called theory of planned behavior. Adzen, European author. For marketing, for psychological studies, and other behavior studies, we majorly apply this theory called theory of planned behavior. Okay, I just like I said, like why those scales we adopt. Why we adopt service quality to measure service quality of service in any context. It may be automobile service, it may be tourism, hospitality service, it may be the restaurant service. We majorly use scale called SERVQUAL, which is shortly called SERVQUAL. And recently in the sense like 8 years back, they brought one more scale called e-serve-qual, because nowadays all the service have started from the online. So they have started e-service quality. They have given a scale to measure service quality of online vendors like Amazon, whatever online service, not only Amazon, any sort of online service, whether the scale is reliable or not. If somebody is adopting the scale, it should have a degree to which the test scores indicates unchanging difference wherever you test. Okay, the reliability is this one. I think morning Harindranath sir also shared. So reliability, if you are giving a questionnaire about some construct, it should have proper reliability. If I give that questionnaire in India, the reliability should be clear. If I give the same questionnaire to different culture, the reliability value should be there. Okay. How to analyze that? We have cross loadings. Sorry, we have each item loadings, Cronbach alpha. Everybody knows Cronbach alpha. Cronbach alpha is a measure of internal consistency. It says set of items as a group. Okay, how closely they are related. We will do that in SPSS. Okay, then we have composite reliability. This is also one type of reliability test. Okay, so which talks about, it is a measure of internal consistency in scale items. It is almost similar to Cronbach alpha, but slightly different in formula. Here we take most of the variance. Okay, it is based on variance, true score variance related to total score of variance. Okay, validity test. There are 4 types of validity test. First, what is meant by construct validity? Degree to which a test measure what it claims to measure. Okay, so it has to be reliable at one side, and again in validity it has to show what is the degree of measurement. For example, if you are using 2 constructs, just imagine price is one construct and brand image is one construct. Or for HR people, you can say organizational commitment. Organizational commitment is one variable, okay, and job performance. Okay, that is one variable. The statements in the sense items, say BI1, you are asking for to measure brand image, say 3 items, okay, BI3. Similarly, you are asking items related to price. Okay, say that is also 3 items. Okay, I'm just giving name as P, statement 1 or items 1, you can call it in any way. Okay, so price, brand image. There are 2 constructs now. So there should not be any validity issues here. In the sense, brand image should measure the brand image. Okay, price, the statements of price should measure price only. It should not cross load with other variables. It happens sometimes when the respondents don't read the questions, they just simply give strongly agree, disagree, neutral, just blindly. It happens most of the time. We have to check that in the data. I will show you with the data set which I have. Okay, how to just correct that. Okay, convergent validity. It is all about the extent to which measure correlates positively with alternative measures of same construct. Say you have 3 statements of price and 3 statements of brand. Okay, and what is the correlation of price? Sorry.
Hello.
Yes.
Asrar sir, Bhatta here.
Yes, sir.
Just to give you heads up, you got 10 minutes more.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and we insist on closing it on time.
Okay, sir.
Because some people have got buses to leave their school, colleges at 4:20.
Okay, sir. What about quiz and all, sir? Like that will be separate.
Which one?
Quiz questions.
No, quiz. I will conduct it on the last day.
Okay, sir.
You only cover your subject.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Only 4 slides I have. I'll just stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, kindly explain the Cronbach alpha once again, sir, if possible.
Yeah, Cronbach. Okay. Cronbach alpha, I'll explain through here. Okay. Through SPSS, it will be easy to listen from. I mean, like it will be easy to understand from SPSS. Okay. Say you have variable name hedonic motivation. Okay. It is measured with 3 statements. Okay. Now you have to test. Just a minute. Yeah, you have to test these 3 statements. Reliability. This is one variable, right? Reliability. Analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Pass these 3 scales, these 3 items, which is measuring one particular variable, that is HM, to the item side. Go to the statistics, click on item scale item if deleted. Click continue and click OK. Click OK. And the first table, you have to look at the first table. You can zoom the screen and see the reliability Cronbach alpha should be above 0.7. That is the cutoff value. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
That is, the meaning is, what happens sometimes, I'll tell you where the error happens. From this data set, I'll show 1 minute. See here, respondent 1, he has given mostly towards the positive side. See, the scale of measurement is 1 to 5. 1 is strongly disagree, 5 is strongly agree. That is how we have measured this. 3 stands for neutral. Now this is fine. There is some problem here with the 4th respondent. Okay. See, if you really look at the statement of HM1, 2 and 3, all are synonym. What we say, all the 3 statements have same meaning in a different synonyms word. Okay, if he really have understood the question, if he is answering first question as negative, third question as negative, obviously second question also he has to add as somewhere near negative. If he is giving 4, either he has not understood the question, okay, or you have to check whether you have asked reverse code. Are you aware of reverse code? What is the reverse item?
No, sir,
Yes,
not
sir.
yet.
See, I think I can. Yes. Yeah, look at this PPT here. Here I am trying to ask about benefits of Excel. All these 4 statements, if you look at grammatical or say meaning wise, 4 statements talks about using Excel in my work enables me to accomplish my task quickly. It talks about time benefit. Using Excel improves my work performance. Okay, it is also again talks about benefit. Third statement, I find Excel useful in my work. Again, it talks about benefit. And the last statement, using Excel saves me time, which is again nearby what we say, all the 4 statements are measuring benefit aspect, correct? So when I'm asking like this, if the respondent gives answer agreement for the first, it has to be somewhere near strongly agreed to agree for the second, third and fourth, because all the 4 statements are in positive terms. If the respondent is feeling negative, like he wants to give strongly disagree, then he has to give somewhere near strongly disagree, disagree, okay, or neutral. Not one side he will say strongly agree, the next statement he will say strongly disagree. Then that's where the reliability goes down. Okay, you're getting the point. Now coming to the reverse coded. Now the best method in research in questionnaire to really check the questionnaire is effective, whether the reliability of questionnaire is really effective, what authors suggest is they give statements in reverse terms. Look at the first statements, talk about positive. Second statement talks about positive. Now third statement, what I will do, okay, I just type this. If you read any papers, if they are using reverse scale, they would have marked it with asterisk or with some symbol A, B, C, or by writing suffix R. Okay. So when the item for particular construct is positive and in between you are asking negative, that is, I find Excel highly difficult, or say not at all useful, or say highly unproductive, like this, then here the respondent has to read the question. If he has given positive agreement for the first, second, and third, the fourth one he has to give in the other side. That is, if he agrees first two statements, then he has to give negative, that is disagree, in the third statement, if he really reads the question and answers the response, which mostly doesn't happen, because that's why a lot of samples we lose during our thesis, because they just blindly do it. And that is one of the major reason why major Indian thesis or major Indian papers in marketing and HR, we don't use reverse scale. Actually, this is a good practice, but the problem is most of them just simply read the first two and they think third one is also positive, and without checking the meaning of the statement, they just give the response. And this create a problem in reliability test. Hope you are clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Actually wanted to talk about this one, HTMT and other analysis, but due to shortage of time. Okay, one last thing. I have already shared an Excel sheet. I think you received it, which helps to calculate average variance extracted and composite reliability, because SPSS doesn't have that option. Okay, so we have to use help of Excel template. Can you check your mail? I have shared the Excel sheet. I don't know whether I have time to explain that.
Yes, sir, received.
Okay, there what you have to do, it's very simple. How to check average variance extracted. That Excel. Yes, the file name is CRAV. Okay, I'll just show last, like how to calculate composite reliability and AV. We know the cutoff values. Okay, cutoff values I'll show here. Please take a screenshot of these criteria. Okay. For reliability test, what test we did? Internal consistency, Cronbach alpha, that is reliability, composite reliability, I will explain you with that Excel sheet how to calculate this. Okay, what is the cutoff value and who said that cutoff value? Okay, for all these three, they have commonly used these sources: Pogosy, Strobe. Okay, there is one more article by Strobe, Hugh, and Bentler. That also you can use. But Bentler and Hugh, they have mostly talked about Amos and the what we say covariance space thing. So you no need to go for that. Yeah, you all received like this Excel sheet. You can
Yes,
check your
yes.
mail. Now
Yes, sir.
you can see this template. Don't save. Okay, when you are doing a paper, when you want to calculate composite reliability and average variance extracted. Okay, SPSS doesn't have that option. You just need to take help of this Excel sheet. Now, how do I calculate AV and CR for one particular construct? Okay, for this you have to run factor analysis. We have already run one factor analysis, right? Double click, copy this one variable. Okay, copy the items of one variable. This is 4 items. Go to the Excel template. There are so many sheets. Some people may use 7 indicators. Some people may use 5 indicators. Indicators are nothing but items, the questions. So since I have 4, I'll paste that 4 here in the factor loading. Okay, just paste it. What is the composite reliability and what is the AV? The cutoff value I have shown, that I will share it to you. If sources also I have given, you can see the screen, right? So cutoff value, if they are above 0.5 and composite delay above 0.7, then it has valid or reliability. The reliability is valid. Okay, so don't disturb this sheet after using. You can just directly close this sheet. You can keep that as, because this will help you to calculate CR and AV. Smart PLS 3, if you are using Smart PLS 3, everything, all the details, including effect size, predictive relevance, everything comes in one single click. Okay, since without touching the SEM or any other softwares, just with the help of SPSS and Excel, this is what maximum we can do the analysis. And there is one more analysis called HTMT, but I don't know whether time is there to explain that. Okay, this is actually latest many articles. Even I submitted one paper last month. In review, they have asked to perform this analysis and send the paper back. So this is the latest technique which they are following. In Smart PLS, this option is there inbuilt. We no need to do any separate calculation. Everything, all the answer comes directly in the software itself.
This is for what?
This is all discriminant analysis.
HTMT is for discriminant analysis.
Yes, discriminant analysis. Okay.
So this cannot be done in SPSS?
This cannot be done in SPSS because you can do correlation, but this calculation, like for example, HTMT, A region divided by...
What about Amos, sir? Not in Amos as well?
HTMT is not there in Amos. Same thing, we have to do it manually. Smart PLS, you can check the website Smart PLS 3, not 2. 2 is free, everyone can use. Smart PLS 3 is the latest one, which is premium. You have to pay some yearly, quarterly or monthly payment for that, 2,500 or something per month. So that software is very good if you are going for a SEM. Okay. So if you, in your paper, if you are giving up to here and finally perform the regression, there is a chance that your paper will get accepted in terms of provided you have given proper research gap, proper hypothesis and other literature support. Okay, there is no need to go for structural equation modeling. Up to here you can do, it will be enough for the paper acceptance. Even in A category, you can send. Okay, I will share this slide. You can go through. Due to shortage of time, I could not able to explain this. Okay, so you can. I'll share that. You can go through that slide. Yes, sir.
Ashwath here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think there are some people who want to catch up the bus and go.
Yes, sir.
They want to stop it at this point.
Yes, sir. No problem, sir.
Sir, just one question, sir.
Yes.
You have in this slide, in this particular slide, you have given some value of convergent validity. You were calculating that with HTMT or discriminant?
Discriminant.
What about the convergent? How can we calculate that?
Convergent calculation. See here, this Excel sheet. All the AV values should be above 0.5.
All of you are keen to continue. I have no issues. But don't send me separate WhatsApp, sir. We got delayed and all.
Whoever wants, they can leave.
sorry,
They
sir.
can see the recordings in case if they missed out. We can continue if we want for some more time.
How are you doing, Asrar?
Yes, sir.
Huh? How are you doing on is it over?
Few more, slightly like 2-3 topics left out, sir.
2-3 topics.
So
In the
we can
sense,
take a poll, and if somebody is interested, can continue, or if someone is wanted to leave.
almost end, but it will take more time.
No,
sir.
no, it will
It's okay.
take at least half an hour more. Yeah. Asrar,
Yes, sir.
if you want, I can give you a separate session for this half an hour.
Okay, sir.
What do you want? Everyone, please tell me.
A separate session should be.
We will revisit this tomorrow.
Session should be
Full session for
tomorrow.
Asrar, sir.
Separate session should be okay.
Sir, actually, we need to catch
The major problem,
more convenient for us.
sir, the major problem is post lunch and schedule faculty. They'll feel tired of
Hello?
post lunch.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, the other computer had become supply has gone. No, I wanted to ask you that should we have a small separate session tomorrow or day after?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So one full session if possible.
Asrar, no,
Yes, sir.
full session is difficult
Okay, sir.
because we have not planned it. I'll discuss with Asrar and come back to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Asrar, can you discuss with me?
Yes, sir. I'll come to your cabin.
Asrat sir.
No,
can
if you
please
want to
share the-
continue now, I have no issues.
How many days this program, sir? How many days?
No, we have tomorrow and day after, but all the sessions are full. Only thing is we create a separate half an hour session.
Okay, sir. We'll read it tomorrow, sir. Or when
Will you be able to, would you like to have it tomorrow or want to continue?
Sir, lunchtime 15-20 minutes we can reduce it and we can make use of this session, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So tomorrow 1 to 1:30 we'll put this session. I'll ask the previous chapter complete in 1 o'clock. And 1 to 1:30, Dr. Asrar, is that fine?
Oh, okay, sir. Right.
1 to 1:30, Dr. Asrar will take. Then 2:15 onwards, we'll follow the next session with 45 minutes break.
Okay, sir.
Is that fine?
Half an hour more will be enough, sir. It will be
Yeah,
over.
1 to 1:30 tomorrow. Is that fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll close the session now.
Okay.
We'll meet tomorrow 1 to 1.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Asrat
Thank
sir,
you,
can
sir.
you please share the
Thank
link
you,
that
sir.
you were talking about hairs and
All mail ladies. Whatever the materials we have discussed, everything I will share.
It will be, Asrar, I made you the admin. Please put it in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Other two sessions I have already shared. Okay. Harindranath and my sessions I have already shared.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I know it's the end of the day. You all must be quite tired.
Thank you, sir.
Anita's face is so angry today.
I wanted it for some more time when you're stopping this.
So sweet. Tomorrow 1 to 1:30 we'll do it because we have to consider everybody.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Recorded
Tomorrow 1 to 1:30 we'll have a small extension. Okay.
Yes.
Asrar,
yes, sir.
1 to 1:30 be ready.
Yes, sir. Others can leave. Anybody have some questions? You can discuss now. Those who want to leave, you can leave. Thank you so much. Those who have any queries, you can.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Asrar, I have a query.
Yes, ma'am.
You were saying that depending upon the number of, you can keep the what do you call questionnaire small. I mean, the number of questions small. Then you were saying something. I just
No. That was actually those steps are followed for exploratory factor analysis, ma'am.
Okay.
Exploratory is the stage where we do not know for the questionnaire which we give how many constructs it will give. Okay, we just give the statements. Finally, when we analyze, it will give some construct wise. Say we just randomly give questions without mentioning the variable name. Based on the response received, it will load component 1, component 2, and component 3. Okay, different factors. So in that stage, in the best example would be when service quality scale was developed in marketing, if you are aware.
Yeah, I'm doing on SERP one of the questionnaires.
Okay, service qual, that Parasuraman scale. If you just read his first article, how they developed that scale. They initially gave the statements and they gave more number of items. Then how it gradually get reduced during reliability stage, validity stage, and finally in discriminant validity, which is further huge scrutinization, where finally for each variable, for each construct, the items gets reduced. That is what I was trying to explain that.
So one more thing I noticed that you use the principal component analysis. But
Okay.
many a times in my subject, for example, I am into OB and HR.
Yes.
And in my subject, I have been asked to use the principal
access factoring.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is the basic difference?
That principal access factoring we use based on when I search the literature, the major literature says that we do principal access factoring for exploratory factor analysis, not for the confirmatory factor analysis. Just to make it more simple, if you are developing a scale, use principal access factoring. Okay. If you have adopted the scale from different sources, then no need of principal access factoring. We have to go for principal component analysis. That's it.
Sir, I did that factor analysis from your Excel sheet that you provided, and there were two components, but since I had to rename the variables in SPSS, I didn't do that. It's still variable 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So if you want, I can send it to you.
Okay. So when you analyze that data, you got two components.
Yes, sir. Two components.
It has to be more.
Two factors. Do you want me to share the screen, sir?
Okay. You can just share this.
Yes, sir. Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
Can you see it, sir?
Yeah. This
Yes.
shows like sharing the screen. It's not yet visible.
The KMO and Bartlett, it was good. This is the script plot. You can see that above 1, there are only 2 factors.
Okay.
And KMO came as 0.8. Bartlett was significant. So there we do not have any problem. And pattern matrix shows that there are, in the raw factor, there are 2 components.
No.
Rescaled factor, 2 components again.
The questionnaire which I shared with you is adopted scale. None of them are new. So try this with principal component, varimax rotation. And
yes, I also did that.
What is the result? Rotated component matrix.
Initially, I did that. rotated component matrix. This is the result, sir.
No.
The initial one.
No, rotated component.
Yeah, extraction method.
This is component. I
PCA.
want rotated component.
Rotated component, yes, this one, sir. Probably you are talking about this one. See the rotated component matrix. PCA rotation method is Varimax. This is the result that I have got.
Further.
Okay, just 1 second, sir. Yes. Component.
Okay, I think while selecting some options, you might have missed out suppress. There is an option called suppress by size.
Yes,
and,
I sorted
cutoff.
by size and cutoff value was 0.5.
But rotated component output will not be like this.
Yes, sir. That's what I was also, surprised, because I always get, separated, not this raw component. And
Can you just go to your variable view or
Yes.
data view?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, variable view. You can go to your variable view.
Okay, so just give me 1 second. Can you see it, sir?
Can you just minimize this output?
Oh, okay,
SPSS output.
okay.
5 minutes.
Can you now see it, variable view?
You have to plan, remove whatever is required.
No, I think it's not visible.
Okay, I have to stop sharing and new share.
Okay.
Yes. Can you now see it, sir?
Yeah. Here, try to change this into scales. Okay, all of them are scales.
Okay.
Once
Yes.
go to data view, ma'am. 1 minute.
Right. Yes, that's the problem. Okay, I will do it.
That is one thing, and okay, you just try with that, and then check the results, and follow the proper procedure. Okay, analyze dimension reduction.
Yes, sir. I will.
From
do
the
it.
descriptive, we have to select all the options. Then
Just give me
the output.
1 minute. I'll do it.
Okay.
Dr. Asrar,
Yes, sir.
I made you co-host.
Okay, sir.
You finish all this one, you can log off.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just cutting off the recording. You can continue. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, you are sending the recording of video to us or not?
Not now. It takes time for us to do a lot of downloading, so it will be sent by next Monday or so. All recording.
All sessions,
Okay,
sir, will be sending complete.
Okay, sir.
whatever
Thank you,
is-
sir. Whenever you are free, you are sending, sir.